Picture this, a world where everything about energy is changing quickly. Right now, countries across the Middle East and North Africa are facing the big task of making sure that everyone gets reliable and fair access to electricity. Each country, of course, has its own challenges, from climate issues to economic instability and security risks. Today, we are delighted to welcome Dr. Fatah Bيرول, Executive Director of the International Energy Agency, who will share with us the key insights from their new special report on electricity in the region. Let's jump right in. So, Dr. Bيرول, thank you so much for having us here. My first question, in the middle of all these global energy shifts, what do you think are the biggest challenges for Middle Eastern and North African countries to ensure that everyone gets fair and reliable electricity?
So, Middle East and North Africa electricity use is growing very strongly. In fact, in the entire world, we see that the electricity demand is surging. But when people talk about the electricity demand surge, they talk about China and India, rightly so. But Middle East in the entire world comes third after China and India. Why so big growth in Middle East? There are two main reasons. One of them is the increasing need for air conditioners. And the other one is the desalination of water. With the air conditioners today in the MENA region, Middle East and North Africa, in GCC countries, there is a lot of air conditioners, but beyond the GCC countries, in the MENA region, the air conditioner ownership is very, very low. Only 20% of the people have air conditioners, similar to the level of India. And with the increasing temperatures and the increasing incomes of the people, they buy air conditioners, which gives a boost to electricity demand growth in the MENA region. And the second one is the water, desalination of water. 7 out of 8 major water stress countries in the world are in Middle East and North Africa. There's a major need for water, and in order to desalinate the water and provide water to the citizens, you use a lot of electricity. For these two reasons, huge growth of electricity demand, mainly coming from the air conditioners and desalination of water in the Middle East. It will be a major challenge for the countries and the citizens in the next 10 years to come.
Why do we see such big differences in how electricity is produced and shared across these countries? And how can we start closing those gaps?
Currently, when we look at it, the electricity production, generation, comes mainly from oil and natural gas. About more than 90% comes from these two. But when we look at the next 10 years, the government programs, the projects in the pipeline, and the change in the technology, we think the electricity demand will be met by natural gas, solar power, and in some countries, nuclear power. So there is a change moving from gas and oil to the gas, solar, and nuclear power. In many countries today in the MENA region, we use a lot of oil to generate electricity, but governments are taking wise decisions, such as Saudi Arabia, such as Iraq. Instead of oil, they use gas, they use solar power, and the oil that they don't use for electricity generation, they will export and to make good revenues from that.
And I still remember in our last interview, you encouraged the countries in the region
Exactly.
on adopting nuclear energy as well.
Yes, you remember perfectly.
Yeah.
It is right, and we see that the countries such as Egypt, for example, such as Emirates, for example, they are, and Saudi Arabia is coming in the picture as well. They are looking at the nuclear power more and more closely. Emirates is an excellent example. They are making use of nuclear power. So is Egypt. They are constructing some nuclear power plants, and Saudi Arabia soon will have a nuclear power plant as well. So solar, nuclear, and the natural gas will be the bedrocks of the electricity system in the next years to come in the MENA region.
Do we have any estimates on how much investment the Middle East and North Africa will need to tackle the growing electricity crisis?
Today, the investment in the power system is about $44 billion, and 2035 it will be close to $70 billion. About half of this money will be needed to build power plants, but the other half will be needed to build the grids, transmission lines, to bring the electricity from the power plants to the households, to the industry, and other places. So we need substantial amount of investment. It will be easier to get this investment in the GCC countries, but a bit more difficult in the other parts of the MENA region, because you need to have less risks for the economy, for the political stability, and others.
How much are geopolitical tensions messing with investment in electricity infrastructure? And do you see a rising risk of energy insecurity because of that?
Very much so. Energy security is a big issue today. It may well be a bigger issue in the next years to come, because unfortunately, energy and geopolitics are becoming more and more interwoven. And therefore, there is definitely a risk of energy security in the region and in the world. And the more resilient energy infrastructure we have, the better we are prepared for that.
What's the main message and the most urgent advice from this report that you would give to policymakers in the region?
So, maybe two messages, if I may. The first one is be prepared for a very strong growth of electricity demand because of the growing needs for air conditioning and desalination water. They directly affect the well-being of their citizens. And the second, in order to meet that very strong demand growth in the electricity, make use of your natural gas assets, but also give a big push to solar power, which is very cheap, and do not forget the nuclear power, which could be a good complement to others.
Thank you so much for this insightful conversation.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So it is clear that the future of electricity in this region isn't just about resources. It's about political will, smart investment, and regional teamwork. This report is really a call to action for everyone shaping policy out there, to put electricity right at the heart of our national strategies. Thanks for being with us, and we can't wait to see you next time.